Hello folks, this is Scott with Dallas Paint Correction and Auto Detailing here in Dallas, Texas. I just recently had a subscriber ask me, Scott, what's safer, what's more effective, a rinseless wash or a waterless wash? Well, I want to try to keep the playing field equal if we could. Right now, my car looks pretty good, right? But it's got some light dust and dirt on it. It really doesn't matter in the moment. I'm really going to be talking about technique and how the pros and cons of each wash work, and then kind of let you guys decide which one seems to be safer, more effective, and more efficient to you. I'll just point out the things that maybe some of you haven't considered before. I know a lot of people tell me, hey, rinseless washes just meant you didn't have to rinse the car off on your final stage after using the soap. Well, okay, I guess I'll honor that, but I'll also follow the directions on the bottle that says just simply put a couple of ounces in your bucket, use a microfiber cloth or a big red sponge and go ahead and wash your car with it. Listen, there's people who have foam cannons. The foam cannon was meant to what? Kind of pre-foam a car, whatever. You can use it 9 times if you want, but that's not really how it was designed and created. And I don't want to go down that rabbit hole, but I want to keep the playing field even across this kind of experiment, if you will. So right now I've just got light dust and dirt on my car. I'm going to go in without pre-treating the panel, without rinsing off the car, just as the bottle says to use a rinseless wash. In about 99% of the videos that are on YouTube, this is basically how they're going to show you to use a rinseless wash. Inside my bucket, I've got Wolfgang rinseless wash. Inside my bucket, I've got a microfiber towel that's been soaking in the rinseless solution. I'm now going to go across this panel and work from the top and work all the way down to the bottom of the panel, right? Most of us know that's probably the safest and most effective way to be able to wash your vehicle and use a rinseless wash. Now at this point, you can spray like a drying aid if you want, and then simply go in there and buff dry. And now you basically have washed and sealed the vehicle. If that's how you see it, that's cool. I'll honor that. Now I want to talk about a waterless wash. Waterless wash is a little bit different. You're going to put your waterless solution inside a spray bottle with a trigger. Now the way a waterless solution works is you'd walk up to the car and you'll simply go ahead and spray your solution onto the vehicle. So kind of indirectly but directly, you're pre-treating the panel before you even go in there. We got to get the waterless solution onto the panel, right? So this is the way it would work. So you put it on there for yourself and you've got it on there. You would typically take a dry microfiber towel. The way you see a lot of guys telling you to use a waterless wash, they'll now tell you to kind of, hold your microfiber up on edge, go across the panel one swipe, and then check to see if you've got dirt and grime. That's all cool, that's all fine and dandy, but I kind of want to expedite the process and be just as safe and just as effective. When you have your waterless solution on the panel, let me put a little bit more on this since I took it off. I'll take my towel, which is dry at the moment, right? And I'll go ahead and pre-treat the towel, just kind of get it moist and a little bit wet, kind of like a rinseless version. Now my towel's not going in hot and heavy, right? It's got some emulsifiers and encapsulators from the solution on the towel. The towel's a little, I guess some could say it's a little bit more forgiving at the moment because it's got product on it. And now what I'll do is I'll treat it just like I would with a rinseless wash. Just go in there, work from the top all the way to the bottom of the panel, right? And then you would simply take another microfiber towel if you wanted to dry off with, or whatever the case may be. I'll just take a microfiber towel and dry off what's left over from the waterless wash. Well, now I want to talk about the fine details that are not so easy to see sometimes. We've got to see the bigger picture. If you notice during the rinseless wash, when I put the microfiber towel or a big red sponge, however you want to do it, you're going to glide it across the surface, right? What you're going to find is because you're gliding it across the surface, you're not really going to be efficiently or effectively cleaning out these creases between this bumper and this rear panel here. That's kind of a limitation to a rinseless wash. Also around the taillight lens here, you're not going to be able to get what might be stuck inside those taillight lens because, again, we're not pre-treating the panel, we're not rinsing the vehicle off, we're not foam canning the car, so we kind of miss out on that. What's really great about a waterless wash over a rinseless wash is because you're forced to kind of use it in a spray bottle. When you're pre-treating the panel, you now have the ability, because you've got pressure coming out of this nozzle, you have the ability to be able to flush out those creases for yourself, which is really nice. A rinseless wash in this scenario can't do that for you. Also, the same kind of applies for the taillight lens. You can get in there and kind of squirt out any of that stuff that might be in there, dust, dirt, and debris, and then just go in there and lightly go down the bottom of the panel after pre-treating and soaking the panel with a waterless wash. The other thing that's nice about a waterless wash over a rinseless wash in the moment is because pressure is, being created through the trigger. When you're pre-treating the panel and shooting your solution on there, you're also giving the solution and the combination of the pressure the ability to kind of break up and agitate the dust and dirt that might be sitting on the panel, versus just kind of going in there dry with a wet microfiber towel or a big red sponge during the rinseless wash. Folks, in this scenario where you don't feel you need to pre-treat the panel, you don't feel you need to pull out a hose, you don't want to fill a bucket up with water. I know the only complaint's going to be I got to squeeze this trigger a lot, but a waterless wash in this scenario is going to be much more effective of getting grease and grime out of panels, out of creases, around taillights. You'll be able to agitate the surface of the paint and give the emulsifiers and the encapsulators within the solution a little bit more of a fighting chance for you. In my opinion, in this scenario, a waterless wash kind of wins the battle. I'll leave it up to you to decide. And again, when you go in to do your waterless wash, this is a cool little trick. Go ahead and kind of soak down your towel so you're not forced to go in dry and kind of hold it on an edge and work each edge until you've completely covered this area of the microfiber with dirt, and then you flip over. That's a lot of time, kind of shoveling your way through the grease and grime. You can just lightly saturate it, just like a rinseless wash. Now you got a nice saturated area with all your cleaner on it, your surfactants and your polymers, and you can just simply go in there just like you do a rinseless wash and be just as effective, but again, get these other areas where a rinseless wash cannot. I love you guys all. I hope that kind of helps you out, but I wanted to answer that question for my subscriber. In this scenario, keeping everything equal, I believe a waterless wash is more effective, more efficient, and possibly a little bit safer on the paint versus a rinseless wash. I appreciate it, guys. Talk to you soon.